up, you guys? You're the cameraman.
I'm not saying much.
Y'all, I'm lit.
I'm sorry. I know y'all be saying I be acting mean to Daniel. I'm sorry, Daniel. So today we're gonna be doing lit history, aka drunk history, and we're going to be talking about some of, you know, my personal ancestral history and such, okay? So for those of you guys that know, the kid is Afro-Latina, Puerto Haitian, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna be telling you a specific story that intermixes with my history, and I'm going to be having the help of Daniel here. What's up? Hey, Daniel. Yeah, let's get into it. All right. So I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I am like actually lit. Like, I don't know anybody's name. I want to say it's Dessalines or Dessalines. Dessalines. He was in charge of what we would call the Haitian revolt or revolution. When that was won, because I just need to skip, because in order for these stories to intertwine, if you guys want me to go in on like the Haitian Revolution and the revolts and stuff, and like how the uprising formed with like Napoleon and all that stuff, like let me know. I'm so here for it. But no, we're gonna skip forward a little bit and we're just gonna talk about what happens like after that. Haiti's gained its independence, okay? Dessalines is in charge and they successfully defeated the French.
Life is good, you know what I mean?
And it was crazy because like they only had like 3,000 people. The French had hella people, but they still beat they. Things get dark. Dessalines was like, look, we can't really be free if there's white people. Well, French people specifically. But then it turned into like Creole people. It was just a lot of eugenics. It was giving Attack on Titan. It was just a lot. Like, it was so bad that like a lot of Haitians didn't even really want to do that. Like, they didn't want to be as bad, you know, as their slave masters. They didn't want to do that. Every time Dessalines was like, show up, he would pop up at their villages, whatever, and then they would be like, okay, well, I guess we just gotta do what we gotta do, and then they would massacre.
Clap if you've ever wanted to kill somebody.
So there was like a big massacre, and I think it was like 3,000 French and Creole, white Creole people, or just Creole people in general. There are still some white people in Haiti till this day.
Pretty legendary if you ask me.
But that revolt inspired so many small countries in the Caribbean, and so many places were like, you know what, did y'all see Haiti? Like, they were going crazy. Like, they literally killed their masters and blew up. Like, what about it? And they were rich at that time. Like, I know right now everybody views Haiti as like being poor and everything, but back then they were rich. So everybody was like, oh my God, have you seen them? Even like America at that time was like, y'all, this is why we cannot let slaves be free. Because if they get free, they're gonna do exactly what they did in Haiti, and we're all gonna die, and they're all gonna kill us, and they're all gonna kill our children, because they were killing kids. And it was really bad because like there was just an ideology going around the whole globe, really, that this was the first nation that abolished slavery, and what are they doing? They're killing women and children, and they're raping women, and they were basically just like trying to paint them as being like savages. And yeah, it was just propaganda bullshit that stemmed from white supremacy, and it was just bad. Like, it was just all around bad. Like I said, tying it back in to how this inspired so many different people, right? So in Puerto Rico at that time, I want to say it was like 10 to 15 years later after the revolt happened, there was a slave, and he wanted to emulate what happened over in Haiti, but in Puerto Rico, okay? So he told everybody where he was at in his surrounding area, he was like, look, what we gotta do is we gotta do exactly what they did, okay? We're going to fight back. We know the land. We're going to push them the fuck out, and then we're going to kill all the white people, like point blank.
Pretty legendary if you ask me.
He was like, bro, we're going to kill all the white people. We're going to do all this, and we're going to kill all the white people. Now, obviously, we have seen how that does not get you anywhere, but hell. All you're hearing is that everybody is scared of these Haitians, and it's making these white people quake in their boots. So they was like, look, this is what we're gonna do. Get people involved. He accumulates all these people. They're ready. They have a plan. Like, they're about to go, right? So, sorry, I realized I haven't really been drinking.
A few moments later.
This is basically the Puerto Rican Catcher Freeman story. Okay. So yes, Marcos. Marcos is a guy who was a slave. And it's crazy because he's actually from like an extinct heritage of like Creole Portuguese, like a Creole Portuguese mix of people that like spoke a different language. Like, it's a whole thing. Y'all should look into it. But yeah, like, he coordinated this whole uprising based off the Haitian Revolution and the French massacre. Like I said, North Americans and people all over the place were already very weary because this was the first ever slave revolt. Like, I really want y'all to think about this. They were very, very scared. They were like, okay, this is crazy. This could be inspiring. So people were already expecting an uprising to happen anywhere in the Western Hemisphere for real. So, boom. This bitch, hold on, who's it? They didn't even say his name. They didn't even say who it was. If any of my native Puerto Ricans know who it is, let me know, because I know there's a lot of folklore about this story. I just don't know. I don't know this man's name, but I'm calling him Puerto Rican Catcher Freeman. So because everybody was expecting revolts to happen, they were like, okay, if you know that somebody is going to do an uprising, we'll give you your freedom off rip. You snitch on them, we're gonna give you freedom, we're gonna give you 500 pesos, and you're Gucci. So some bitch, some bitch was like, you know what? Fuck y'all little uprising. I'm about to go be a free man. Fuck you guys. And that's what they did. They went and they snitched, and right when the day came that they were supposed to do the uprising, guess what happened? They got caught up. There were too many men there. They got took over. Marcos actually got caught captive, and nobody knows what happened to him. They just took him. No one ever seen him since. Everybody thinks he got executed. Yeah, nobody's seen him since. He got executed. That everybody assumes he got executed. And that other guy was just a free man somewhere. It's pretty fucked up. But it's like, I don't know, like, who are you to judge because of survival? But at the same time, it's like, damn, like, you just saw like a recent example of like what is possible, and you were just like, I'd rather have 500 pesos and my freedom. Fuck all of y'all.
You need to leave.
Well, if any of you guys are wondering what happened to the original person that did the French massacre, there's a whole bunch of rumors about how he died. Haiti is infamous for just like murking people they're just not fucking with in like old history. So basically what happened is he got killed by somebody who used to work with a general, like, y'all, it's a lot, but all I know is that the folklore that I've heard is that there was an old lady who had like mental problems, and she was always mental, but then she saw clarity when she saw bro get like murked in the street, and she got all the pieces of his body and put it in a knapsack and buried it. That's the folklore, but I don't really know what happened to bruh. That's just what I've heard happened to him. But it's just so crazy how like everything is all intertwined. Like, it's so crazy how it's like everybody tries, how colonialism in history tries to like divide us. Let me know if any of you guys ever knew about this. Thanks for sipping and doing this history with me. Let me know if you guys want me to do any more history. I'm not just exclusive to just doing Puerto Haitian history. We could do any type of history. I love learning. We could do World War II stuff. We could do I don't know, hippie stuff. We could do millennial things. I don't know. I'm just down for it. If you guys want to give me any event in history that you think is like very crazy or gnarly, leave it in the comments. I'm kind of just doing what I want to do right now on the tube right now. So, but if this gets a lot of likes and a lot of people like this, I'm gonna do it again. So just let me know what you would like to see. Peace and blessings. Bye.
I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson. Let's do that a little more.